Joining me now in studio to talk more about the technology landscape, which we know does make up the largest portion of sectors within the S&P 500. Tony Kipp is here in studio. He's a portfolio manager and head of Fundamental Equities Technology Group at BlackRock. Tony, thanks for joining.
Thank you.
Here at the Stock Exchange, of course, for the IPO Summit today.
Yes.
Those in attendance will see you on stage having a discussion. How does the landscape look to you?
For the IPO market looks quite favorable for the first time in years. Obviously, we haven't had IPOs since 2022. Not many, a handful. In 23 had 24. Clearly, there is optimism. We'll see materially more than last year. So it's the beginning of kind of the unjamming of a large inventory of potential unicorns that want to come public.
Yes, and those unicorns, of course, private companies with $1 billion valuation or more. I want to get your insight on artificial intelligence. It's something we talk a lot about on the show. It's something obviously viewers and consumers care a lot about as well. Within this AI space, what is standing out to you at the moment?
I think as we look at AI, we approach it through a hierarchical stack. Infrastructure, compute, data centers, and energy at the bottom of the stack, the intelligence and the data in the middle of the stack, and then the applications and services on top of the stack. And at each layer of this stack, there is a lot of change and competition. Clearly, a lot of focus has been on the bottom of that stack, where there's been hundreds of billions of dollars. I mean, more investment now than we've ever seen in humanity, going into building that core foundational infrastructure. I think that continues, even though there's been lots of questions about it recently with DeepSeek and things. It is undeniable the amount of investment that will continue. So this has been a trend for the last 2 years. That continues. And at the top of the stack, which has been kind of somewhat left behind in the last couple of years on the application layer, what is now the realization is that as these models get more and more performant and the cost of compute gets lower and lower, it then enables companies to build these new next generation new AI applications that will sit on top of the stack. And so there's a lot of new potential there.
And what do you see in the IPO pipeline when it comes to artificial intelligence?
Yeah, that's a great question. As I look at 2025, there will not be that many AI companies that go public. Many of them are new. In fact, most of the IPO candidates in 2025 will be not true classic AI. It'll be companies that were created in the 2000s and 2010s. The new AI companies that were created after ChatGPT came onto the scene, they need a little more time to season and grow. So I think you'll see more of those next year. But there will be a couple that will try the IPO market in the AI sense, maybe on the chip side, maybe on the data center and computing infrastructure side. But majority of the IPOs, as I see it, it will be more the non-pure AI class of companies.
Interesting. Does DeepSeek change the game?
DeepSeek, what it raises the question is there are always battles of in AI of where is the value, where is the moat, where is your defensibility, and what the DeepSeek raised questions of. One primary question is open source versus closed source, and they represent the open source of which China capitalized on. And there's a lot of money being invested in closed source, and so the defending of that kind of IP position, will the world go to an open source AI or will it go closed source? That's one that raised the big question. The second is there was a question of did DeepSeek change the investment landscape because of this nature? Well, if you invest all this money and it can be basically copied, will that diminish the spending? Well, actually, in my opinion, it does the opposite. It actually engenders even more spending, because as the cost of computing and intelligence gets lower, that will just create even more usage. So that's often called Jevons paradox, which is I think, driving even more long-term spending in the AI sector.
So the IPO Summit here at the Stock Exchange getting underway soon. As you get ready to take the stage there, here, what are your hopeful takeaways from today's summit?
You know, the audience, I think, will be mostly companies, and my hopeful takeaway is that they feel encouraged that it's not bad to go public. And we have had a long drought, and that they feel encouraged that, hey, maybe it's time to go.
All right. Well, we see the stock market higher fractionally today. Tony Kim joining us after the market opens and before he takes the stage at the IPO Summit here at the Exchange. He's a portfolio manager and head of fundamental equities technology group at BlackRock. Tony, thank you.
Thank you.